Thanks for tuning in to my Obsessed and Optimistic channel. Today, I got my friend Chance Vanek back in here. We're going to be going over a bunch of business concepts, hopefully trying to get you some ideas to either think of some different strategies or maybe outside the box you might feel like you're stuck in. Chance has ran multiple businesses, so have I. So we're going to share some of our experiences and hopefully that'll help you move forward.
Sounds like a great plan.
How has work, man? We've been doing coaching with you for like quite a while.
I fell off the coaching wagon.
No.
What month is it? August.
Yeah.
January, February, March, April, May, June. Oh my gosh. 8 months into the year.
Yeah. I remember before you had a minimum amount you were trying to hit.
Yeah.
And I know you've switched in how you're generating your revenue, but how has that been in correlation to the minimum amount that you wanted to hit? Are you hitting those goals? Or
we were hitting the numbers when I had that whole team in place. And then
now that you've switched to this other method, are the numbers still hitting or does it need to be completely revamped?
I haven't been tracking, to be honest.
Okay, we're going to have to get back on accountability train and put up a new budget.
But the bank account is going up, so that's good.
So the other thing was you had implemented some budgeting items to make sure household and business were spending within certain parameters so there wasn't a free-for-all to try to help with things. Has that piece or control piece at least stayed in place?
No, it's gotten out of control during summer.
That's what summer does.
Bro, summer vacation tore it all up. 2-week vacation planned, a year ago. That screwed a lot of things up. And now my kids, they think they're still on vacation. Technically they are. They go back to school on Wednesday. But oh my gosh.
My kids are doing the same, so I don't have anything any better.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that was my follow-up on old coaching stuff.
Yeah, we got to get back to coaching.
We have to, and I have to hold you accountable because that's what I promised. So let's get back on a budget, create a new budget. We'll touch base maybe in our next one, going over some more numbers. I know you're approaching things different. We might have a separate one just talking about that.
Okay.
But I just wanted to dive into that before we got into some other concepts. So I've been reading a bunch of business books, doing some new tariff work. I get to meet with a lot of high-level professionals. I'm always talking to them, listening to different concepts. Social media, same as anybody else. I got some concepts that came up, thoughts on that. I put it together, say, let's make a podcast. Let's talk about some of them. My first one of the most common lies we tell ourselves is, I'll get back to this later. So why do we? A couple examples I have is, I don't know, let's say my kids are trying to clean up a mess around the house. Throw something somewhere and they'll be like, Dad, I'm going to get it, or I'll pick that up later. I think there's a real easy equivalent into the workspace as well. But the question is, why do we need to get back to it later? Like we could do it in the moment, but we don't. So what's the purpose? What's making us stop and say, I'll get to this later? Any ideas, any examples?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of different answers to this question, Trevor, depending upon how big of a project you're getting back to later is.
Yeah.
I recently saw something the other day. I don't remember it exactly, but it was something along the lines of, if you can get it done within 2 minutes, do it now.
I agree with
If
that.
it's going to take longer than that, then move it aside.
That works. So I'm going to say just in that, the idea is, even if you're putting it aside, then it's because you're prioritizing something else. Hopefully the something else is a good idea, not I need to scroll on social media or whatever it might be. But typically if we're saying I'll get to it later, it's because we're prioritizing something else. And I like the 2-minute rule. There's no reason to give yourself a really long list of things that you have to come back to if you can take it out now and then you don't have that. I like efficiency. So
sure,
I think that's a good space for that.
Sure. And you got to categorize it too, like importance, level of importance, maybe 3 levels.
Yeah.
Does it need to be done now? Does it matter at all?
Sometimes with my kids, when it comes to cleaning the room or staying clean, all the things they're dropping around could easily be put away and they're never a high priority. And that's why they're like, I'll get to it later because whatever else.
Yeah.
I just got home. I got to do homework or I got to jump in the shower and be ready for dinner. Like whatever it is they're trying to do when they're done with their day. But none of those are ever going to be a priority. So they're going to accumulate. That's actually what happens. That's the problem in our house. I'm like, how do I fix this problem of I'll get to it later?
Yeah.
Because it's always something else.
Well, when it accumulates too much, then it becomes a priority. Because Papa gets mad and angry.
Okay. But we want to avoid that, right?
Right. So
I agree that is the process. That's why we're having this conversation. I don't want to be the angry dad saying, hey, let's pick it up.
I don't want to be the angry dad at all. I don't like being the angry dad. That's the worst part of being a parent, is being the angry dad.
So I have one other thing in here, which might not 100%, and I'm using kids, which is great. But again, I think this applies to business concept equally as much. Prioritizing something else. We don't actually want to do it, and we're lying to ourselves by saying, I'll get to it. You're not actually going to get to it. You're putting it there. And the third, which kind of leads from that one, is you're waiting for somebody else to do it. I can tell you a lot of times when they're stacking it there, when they stack it there, they have the intent to go get it. After 2 or 3 times, now it's a mess. They don't want to get it. They're hoping that because they're busy, one of the parents will compensate and pick it up. And trying to teach your kids as they're getting older, they're preteens and teenagers, that I'm an adult now. Well, then you need to be responsible for your stuff. You need to have your own methods to pick things up and be accountable or responsible for it. But that one of waiting for somebody else to do it is mind-blowing to me, because dropping it there is the bad habit, and we allow it to build, and then it becomes a conflict point where someone has to yell about it, or some, I don't know, raised level of aggression that we don't like.
A threat.
Or you have the child that somehow logic's in their head that I'm doing so much that somebody should help me then. And then the fact that you're not helping, it's almost like they're shaming you for not doing enough. And even that, or any resentment that might come with that, it's all still bad feelings. None of that we would want. But I go back to the beginning. I said, this all starts because we tell ourselves, oh, I'll get back to that thing later. And that really is the crux of it. I think that more times than not, we don't have to get back to it later. We could do it right now.
Sure.
I think it has to do with the really easy way to get distracted, or whatever that other thing you just thought of is always more appealing than the work you have to do right now.
Right.
And so it's really easy to jump. And I will say, when you're in the grind with business and you're working on a lot of stuff, you have to stay in the current grind and complete it. It is so easy to get 80% done with something, and the rest isn't fun anymore. Hey, I got myself to do it. I see the path of where it's going. I just have to wrap it up. The next thing is like, I got to figure out that puzzle. That's fun.
Yeah.
This is boring now.
Right.
So as a business concept, it's really important to make yourself complete what you're doing every time. You never have to go back. The efficiencies increase. Mm-hmm. And if you're growing your business or trying to increase your volume, you're only going to have more and more things to go back to later, and you're ultimately not going to have time.
Sure.
So I think a lot of things that can be done there is, if you're not going to come back to it, you give it to somebody else, task it out immediately to someone else to do, so it doesn't sit. One of the things
kids are doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. I love that.
They're
like, you know what?
Out to mom and dad.
They're doing that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. One of the things I used to do in my business is I would have a bunch of what I called critical tasks. There was stuff that the team did. And when my list would get too big, I'd take, I don't know, a high-end client that needed hand-holding on a particular thing. And I was like, I want to do that part, but I'm busy. And I'd write it down on my Post-it or my list or whatever I was working on for the day. And I was like, I'll get back to it. And then I don't get back to it. And ultimately, 3 or 4 days later, I'm looking at the list, and I'm now offboarding it to one of my other team members to do 3 or 4 days late. I just got to make that decision sooner.
Yeah.
So that is really where the concept comes from, of this, hey, we're going to wait, we're going to get to it later. Odds are you're not going to get to it later. It's inefficient if you do come back to it later. If you've touched it once, you really need to be done with it. And if it does need some more, give it to another member, because by the time you finish what you're doing and come back around, that team member could have completed it.
Sure.
And even if it's not an immediate team member, there's a lot in the current world between using AI or even using outsourced part-time labor, that there really is a lot of resources to keep things moving. It is way better in current business models to look for those ways and set up a system where when you get it to a certain point and you want to do that switch, that you hand it off to somebody else to complete it, and you have a process for that. That's going to help with a lot of efficiencies.
Sure.
That was my point with this first discussion topic.
That's good. Anyways. That's good. It's I understand where you were coming from. I just don't think kids care at all about having a mess.
No, but it was easy to use kids as like the target. I didn't have to use a business specific example.
Yeah.
They're a neutral.
Yeah. Like my son, he eats all day long. He loves to eat.
He's at that age. That's all he's going to do.
Playing his video game. And I never see that kid with a napkin. I've never seen him use a napkin in his entire life. It's not important to him.
Yeah.
Don't know where it's going. It's not on the couch. I see that. It's somewhere though, because I see it on his hands. So I don't know. Maybe he looks his
Dogs?
fingers.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
it is a resource.
It's got to be important to you, I guess.
It does. I like more, rather than making it important, seeing it as trying to give yourself less things to come back to. There is an overload of having too much things to do, which is a different concept we'll get to later. But
Sure.
I really think in that step of don't wait, get it done when you can. And if you are going to come back, give it to somebody else to take care of.
Mhm.
Like if you're bringing a bunch of groceries or whatever and you can't get to it, be like, spouse, can you help me get this done? Or tell one of the kids, hey, you know where these go in the pantry. Do this while I get the other thing.
My wife will get the groceries. She's a master at bag
Organizing?
stacking.
But that's a guy trait. You're
I-
supposed to
I
go out
know.
to the car
I
and
know.
try to come
I
back
think
with
she just
every
did it
bag.
just to one up me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a picture of that and post it online and be like, guys, give me a picture of your wife. Tell me she's doing better than this.
She's a pack mule.
Nobody will. Nobody will. Some great skills. So my second item is a Jamie quote. There's no value in spending energy on something we cannot change. So I've been working on a concept lately of acceptance rather than trying to improve or better somebody, or maybe they have hopes and dreams. A lot of times I'll look at somebody and I want to be in that motivating self-help type space. Like a lot of people have helped me. I want to pay that forward.
Okay.
And I said a lot of times really on this channel, the reason I'm putting out the content is hoping that people can find some of that help. It is what I want to do. But sometimes in my OCD brain, I'll come up with conclusions on what the help is that somebody needs. And then I stay stuck on really wanting to help them. And maybe they're not at the place in their life to make that change. Or maybe that's not the actual help that they even want. It's just what I came to as a conclusion from the outside.
Oh, okay.
And when you're trying to help people make change, and that is very difficult, I will say more times than not, the people are not going to make the change the first time you go to help them. Most people are going to fail at that or need multiple rounds or have to be at the right time, which would be just like perfect. That's not going to happen most of the time you're trying to help people. So accepting them as they are reduces my frustrations. I find that if you're really trying to help somebody, you're going all in and you're spending all this energy and emotion, and then they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. It can get you as far as wanting to stay motivated and helping and train team members, or even if it's maybe my kids on a side project. I want to stay motivated, but that type of stuff guts it. But when I look at them and I say, this is where they're at right now. And whenever they want to make that step to the next level, I want to be there to motivate them, but I'm not going to try to force the change. I'm going to wait for them to dictate it. So it's been a different approach. I remember this quote that Jamie had made, and it is like, you can spend a lot of energy on somebody when they're not at that point and they're not ready to change. And I get frustrated. I'm almost judging the person. Like, you said you wanted this help and now you're not doing it, but really it's
feel
not,
like he's talking straight to me.
it's not the
but
right timing.
to me.
No, we just haven't been here in a while. This is number 2 on the list.
What was the quote? Say the quote one more time.
No value in spending energy on something we cannot change.
No value in spending energy on something we cannot change.
And I mean, I take that directly to other people.
Yeah.
You can't really change other people. They have to be ready or willing to change. And again, in self-help, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to help them change something. I mean, I had to go through some hard process to help me change. I'm hoping I can make it a little easier for them. But the timing has to be right.
Timing is everything.
But I also feel like when you're trying to help motivate people and they're dealing with things, they can see in you your disappointment if you're trying to get them somewhere and they're not at that point, and they look at you like, and they see, I've let you down. That doesn't motivate them. Versus if I'm really working on accepting them at the place that they're at and letting them know how I see them. I see right where they're at. I know you want that. I know you're struggling to get there. Instead of saying, we keep saying you want to get here, but you don't make the change. I mean, that's a completely different approach.
Yeah.
One's almost harping on them to make it, like that's going to motivate them. And the other one is saying, I see you here and I want to help you get there. I don't care how long it takes. I see you here.
Right.
That's going to be a lot more motivating to that individual.
Yeah. But that's the answer to your own frustration. Doesn't matter how long it takes.
Yes.
Because in your mind, you're thinking, I'm going to give this instruction.
You do.
They're going to implement it. We're going to see progress immediately.
Okay, but I don't know. I mean, you've had employees and stuff that you've been trying to educate or motivate to do a certain thing. In your head, when you say, maybe you have an employee that needs to understand a particular plumbing thing that you're doing and you're training them, in your head, don't you, when you're training them in the very beginning, kind of have a timeline that you think they're going to learn it in? Like, okay, I'll need to do this for a couple weeks and then he'll know how.
Of course. Absolutely.
I think that is a standard when you're helping somebody, especially the person with experience. You're thinking from, well, when I did it was around like this, so this is what I expect. And I think that those parameters sometimes can be frustrating for the people trying to help.
Yeah. We have to eliminate expectations.
Yeah, that's hard. You got any tricks?
Oh. Psychedelics? No, I don't know. I've never done psychedelics.
Oh, man. I don't even like number 3. I don't know when I wrote these, but
oh my God,
they're brutal.
Lay it on me.
This is what
Lay it on me, Trev.
I want you to, this is
What's
number
number
3.
3?
I'll tell you, number 4 is my favorite. I think we're going to talk on number 4 for a while, but number 3, when do we judge or decide someone isn't worth putting investment of our time anymore?
When they stop paying.
Well, again, yes, that works for business.
There you go.
I would agree 100%.
Yeah.
But okay, come into the self-help motivational type space.
Yeah.
They're not paying at all.
Well, most people have to pay for those services.
They do, but maybe not. The mentoring space is pretty big. I mean, I've had key people. The reason I try to work in this space is there was key people that mentored and helped me.
Sure.
None of those came at a cost.
Oh, really?
It was lunches and meetings and time I was spending with them. All the time where they were really mentoring me wasn't paid for time one way or the other.
Oh, okay.
Now, some of them, they were my clients. So typically when we were doing work, I was billing them, but sure, I'm not going to bill them when we're networking or whatever education they're giving me. So I guess to that, what made it friendly or good time was the fact that I wasn't billing for it too.
Well, were they looking at it as a mentorship, or were you absorbing this time as a mentorship?
It was because they were critiquing things in my business that they didn't have to say or do. And some people might take offense to that and it would hurt the relationship. But because for whatever reason, they valued what I was doing or valued me, they said, hey, I'm going to risk our relationship going bad. I'm going to point out something I think that you need to change here or that isn't quite working right. You think your business is working good in this space. I'm a customer working with you. And I can tell you right now, this isn't what you think. I'll give an easy example with the one doctor client that was a great mentor of mine. He was telling me that a particular person inside my company was not doing the work for the amount of time that he said he was. Now, we have people internally that review the work. We have timesheets that regularly track everything. I'm looking at the work that's being done and the amount of volume and the stuff that's being put in. And I'm like, it seems reasonable. So knowing all the controls I have, even when he told me, I immediately doubted it. Now, this is a much older guy, very, very successful. He's telling me a thing and I'm immediately doubting it. I tell him, I'll go look at it. But my first response to him is to tell him, I doubt what he's even saying. He could have stopped right there. He'd be like, this guy doesn't want to listen.
Right.
I'm out.
Sure.
And I go back and dig into the stuff. Not only was what was happening wrong, but I actually found out that he was fraudulently altering his timesheets after the fact.
Oh.
We would proof them during the day to make sure you put your hours in. He'd put in all the hours and then go change them after the fact. After the window that he knew that we controlled and proofed them. So even where I had controls and thought they were good, here's somebody that knew the controls, worked around them. And I would have never caught it if it wasn't for him. And that could have cost me a lot of client relationships.
Sure.
And it didn't cost me that one. I told him, hey, this was wrong. We found it. I've captured the dollar amount. It's X. Please let me give you this back. He said, no, we're going to go out to sushi and you always have to pay.
There you go. That's a deal.
And that began the relationship of us regularly going out to sushi and him mentoring me.
Okay.
Was off one thing of him helping me with this thing where I had an expectation. And I honestly, he could have, my initial reaction to him telling me I was wrong, he could have just dropped me right.
Yeah. No, understood. But you know what? I think there is responsibility on both the client and the service provider. You know, and especially this day and age, and not like a professional service like yours, but anywhere, any business, whether it be a fast food restaurant or a plumbing company, CPA services, whatever it may be, I think if there is something that is bothering you, it does need to be brought to the attention of the establishment before you just fire them, go online, start, bad-mouthing them. Otherwise, how can things ever get better? Right. So had he come to you and you were like, no, you're wrong. I've got all these controls in place, blah, 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 blah. I'm young. I'm successful. I know what I'm doing. You're an old doctor. Just because you have money, you can't tell me what to do. He probably would have maybe walked away at that point.
Yeah.
But you didn't. You looked into it. Even though you might have shown a little inkling of your first response was maybe, no, it can't be true, but I will look into it. You know, we're all human. You got to give people the opportunity. If you go to them, let's say, you go to hire a plumber and they come out to the house and something's wrong or whatever, or they made you feel uncomfortable, or you're just not happy with the situation. You shouldn't just not call them, hire them again. Or go online and rate them bad. You should call the management and have something happen. If they ignore you, now I think you have all the right in the world to do whatever you want.
Yeah. They shouldn't have a chance to cure it.
They should. How can they improve? How can we improve as humans if we don't get feedback from our clients?
No, I think that's a huge point, especially the feedback part. If you're the one that didn't love the service, I think what's modern in the social media space is it's popular to complain, to find a reason to complain or look at this complaint that I posted and whatever traction that it had. But if we're really trying to all get better together, the feedback's what matters. Now, I agree with you. The response to the feedback is what matters. If you give them the feedback and you get nothing, well, they've just told you the answer.
Sure.
But if you give them the feedback and they can make adjustments from it, we're all improving.
Sure.
And you should be getting improved service now.
Yeah.
So everyone should win.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah, big on that.
Man.
You've had that before on plumbing stuff. I know you said you had to make your contracts a particular way because you'd come in to do a particular service and then something else would go wrong and they'd want to blame you for it. And it wasn't even anything that you had done. So I remember when you changed out your contracts, you're like, these particular things that they happen after the fact, they are not me. And you had to really specify that up front to get that misunderstanding out.
Well, yeah. And it's almost in every contract in the small print, but I like to have the technicians verbalize it now. Please review the terms and conditions. This is basically what it's saying. We're going to turn off the water to your home. We're going to depressurize the system. We're going to repressurize the system. You already have one failing fixture, but proper functioning fixtures in a house should be able to handle this. Just because we turn the water off and turn it on, if the toilet starts running over on that side of the house, it's not our fault.
That's not you.
Right? But really, that was also made up, and I want it verbalized because occasionally we get the call, say we are out there and we fix a toilet, and then 2 weeks later, the water heater leaks. And then they call, and some people,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Because they don't know plumbing systems. They'd be like, hey, you guys were just out here like 2 weeks ago, and you fixed the toilet, and now the water heater's leaking. They have no idea. It's not connected. Some people have no idea. Or even better example would be, I personally did the job myself. I installed a kitchen faucet for a customer. A week later, their garbage disposal started leaking. Now, I could see that because we're under the same space.
Yeah.
And maybe had I gone out there and a connection was loose and it was leaking from the connection, perhaps it was from the work we did. Usually things don't happen a week later if it's from the work we did.
Yeah.
But the disposal unit itself was leaking from the motor and the casing.
Yeah.
It just went bad. Just like your faucet went bad.
Just bad
now
timing.
This went bad. Yes, we were just under there. So, but I think most people just, if they do feel unsure or disgruntled, whatever it may be, just a simple explanation, a polite, simple explanation helps people understand. I think a lot of people are just scared of the unknown, and they wouldn't hire you if they knew about the plumbing system or about their taxes or whatever was going on.
Yeah.
So I think people just want an explanation for why things are happening and where their money's going.
I really like this space because I feel like with AI taking a bunch of jobs, the ones that we think are going to be really sure are the personal service providers, especially ones that are coming on site to your house to do things like that. And as technology improves, normal people aren't going to be experts in plumbing. Like they're not going to know whatever that trade is that's coming in. But giving them a chance to explain when you don't understand so that they can cure it or give you better customer service improves your relationship.
Sure.
Versus just going online and putting out a scathing remark just to see what it does. But I think that feedback part is really important for good growth of businesses you want to keep using.
Sure.
And that's really what you would want.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. 20 years ago, you get a call, plumbing problem. You're like, well, I Googled it. I think it's just I get the call now. Yeah. I'll get like an email request. According to ChatGPT, I need a Fluid Master T16, whatever. And it's like spec by spec. It's like, whoa.
You don't like it?
You just need us to
calm
fix
down.
the toilet.
When they're done, do they come back to you and say, did you use the part I said? Like, do they want to be validated that their research was good?
Okay, so as you grow in life and in business, you learn about things called red flags, right?
Let's go.
I'm sure there's businesses that you probably didn't take as clients in your accounting business because you saw a lot of red flags, maybe illegal things going on that you wanted no part of helping them do whatever they wanted to do.
That would be a red flag.
That would be a red flag, or whatever the situation may be. I look for a lot of red flags.
So somebody that's too excited about the AI answer to tell you before you even get to be the professional might be a red flag.
It could potentially be a red flag.
That's freaking great. I love it. Let's go. And if there is, I don't know, content you guys like, or if you have stories that relate to what we're saying, please share them. And if there's something that you'd like us to make as far as content, we'd love to make it. Just give us a comment about what you're interested in and we'll put it out there.